So, irrelevant of what tools we use, there's two principles that we're looking for. Who are the real influencers for our market? If we're a travel company, who are the people that online are the authoritative voices on travel? When they speak, they influence the opinions of thousands. Then we look at the buzz monitoring. So this is this online, real-time conversation tracking. So what conversations are there? Are we being talked about in a positive or a negative light? Where are we being talked about? Because the influencers aren't the influential websites aren't necessarily the places where the conversations are taking place. The BBC has a very, very important financial and business section. But actually, if you want to talk about money, go to Money Saving Expert. So and the analogy again is this difference between Google News and BBC News. Google News is the most trafficked site because it's an aggregator and it's got huge traffic numbers. But in terms of authority, it's not actually that authoritative because all it's doing is taking other people's articles. So the BBC News is actually the most authoritative news source. So this isn't this. Well, I'm sure it'll confuse some people, but really, what we've done here, we've mapped the web for the term reliable cars. This was something we did for Jaguar. So what we've got here are different size nodes and lots of arrows going back and forth. And what it's telling us is the bigger the node, the more influential that site, or the more references to the term reliable cars to that site. So we can kind of see there's JD Power down here. I think there's Lexus, Honda. So, you know, in terms of our own sort of simplistic understanding of reliable cars, well, we all know it's Honda, Toyota, it's the Japanese cars. So it's no surprise here that when people are talking about reliable cars, these are the sites that they're referring to. But you'll notice that there's different colours as well. So the different colours represent the type of site. So if somebody comes along and says, right, we've got £100,000 to spend on social media this year, let's do a blog and a community site. Well, the proper question you should be asking is why, and where should we be putting our money? Because what it allows us to do is identify the appropriate channels. So their websites, their forums, their blogs, I think that's their wikis. So what it's allowing us to do is actually understand if we do have an online presence worth doing something about, where should we be spending our money? And so the system allows us to say, okay, 65% of our conversations, or conversations relating to us, are taking place on blogs and in comments. So really, that's a no-brainer that we should be taking part in blogs, whether we either leave comments in them or whether we have our own and start to generate conversations on our own blog. If the reverse is the case and it's in forums, well, we might have a blog, a fairly simple blog, just to have a destination for people to come back to. But really, we should be thinking about how we can take part in all the forums. So the JD Power forums, for example, or whatever the other car forums are. So that actually we can start to get to know people, understand what's making them tick, what keeps them up at night, and really to try and be part of a community that is talking about us. And that piece of work, the influencer analysis, helps us to understand that. And whilst you can't see this particularly well, although it's been better than most than previous, we've got this indicator here of popularity and influence. And this goes back to this point I was saying earlier about the difference between Google News and BBC News. You'll see the most popular site at 62.5 points isn't actually, it's not the most popular, but it's the most authoritative. So really, what we're trying to do is distinguish the people who just happen to be writing about stuff to the people who have an opinion and have a valued opinion. What we're using now today, WordPress.com, is the free service. And because it's free, there's certain restrictions that they place, i.e. if you want to upload an image, you've only got so much storage space to upload images. There are only so many widgets that you can add to it, because clearly it's a burden on their system. What we operate is again, it's WordPress, but it's called the hosted solution. So what it means is that we take that WordPress software and put it on our own servers. Now that particular version means that you can create and do absolutely anything you like, within reason, on the blog or in the blog. So you can change the theme, you can change the layout, you can change the functionality, you can add and remove whatever plugins you want without restriction, which unfortunately, because this is the free version, you're somewhat limited in that. If you allow at least the comments to arrive, you don't have to publish them.
No, exactly.
But what you can find out is that if there's enough comments about a particular problem, that's a blog post. That's a response or something else that you know, it's becoming an issue that the students need to be aware of. We'll contact, you know, I don't know, handbag thieves, for example, that kind of thing. Something that, do you know about? Well, no, we don't, but we do now, so we can publish about it. So, so if we wanted to, let's just say, click on posts or add new post. So if you, when you're within there, and you'll see on the left there, it says there's dashboard, and I think it says posts, add new. All we're doing here, you'll see a fairly standard editor. So at the top there, we'll add a new post, so we'll put a topic in. Now, what's worth thinking about is that blogs are a really powerful search engine optimization tool, because the way Google works, and I don't profess to be any expert in Google, but the way it works is that if information is new, it's fresh, it's updated regularly, Google argues that that's more relevant to somebody than a static website that's probably not changed in a month. So what you'll find is that if you post to the blog frequently, that if you've got Google Alerts set up, you will get notified that Google has picked that up fairly quickly, because Google thinks, there's something new, there's something interesting, there's something relevant. So the objective when you are writing, and this is there's a wider topic of conversation about writing for the web and writing for print, for example, is that we want to make sure that when we write the post, that we include the kind of keywords that we think people are going to be searching for. So in the title, for example, for the University of Nottingham, we might actually put the actual University of Nottingham as a phrase, and we might put Freshers Week overview or something like that. Now, if somebody's going to be attending the university, Freshers Week is an important time, so it might be something that they search for. So let's include that in the title. When we're then also writing the article, or the actual post itself, let's try and find a way of making sure we can drop the phrase in a couple of times over a couple of paragraphs, so that again, when the search engines find it, they'll see that there's 3 mentions of Freshers Week in that one article. Now, I'm not saying play the system or game the system to overpopulate it with keywords that mean it doesn't read like English. But when you think that Google is searching for keywords that people are asking it for, if you can include those in proper, say, prose or in proper writing, then it absolutely helps the post get noticed more, and therefore you generate more traffic to it. Technorati is the Google blog search, really, of the web, and it identifies content, it identifies blogs by the tags that people use to tag the content, and by the fact that you register a blog with Technorati. So you say, I am a blogger, this is my blog, this is my name, this is my profile, Technorati, please register me. So what'll happen, I think they're tracking 130 odd million blogs now, so there's a good chance that if somebody's writing about something relevant, then you'll find it in there. But it not only picks up the posts, but also the blogs that are writing about that particular topic, which is what Jerry's just mentioned. So somebody shout out a topic that they want me to look for something for. Okay, so of all of this now, actually what we can look at, this has pulled out posts, blogs, photos, videos. So this is searching solely the blogosphere. So in the same way that search.twitter was pulling out all Twitter search results, this is pulling out everything on the blogosphere. So again, let's think about this process. What's relevant to us? Is it people that might have written one blog post about us, or is it people whose blogs are about us? Now, we'll probably see a fair drop-off in volume, and we've got how many results here? 143. I would suspect there's probably only a handful of blogs about the University of Nottingham, but that, you might argue that's an opportunity, because nobody else is doing that. So we can be the people that kind of control the conversation around living life in Nottingham as a student, for example. So if you all kind of go through that process, you'll start to see people that may have posted videos or images of when they went to the centre, for example, or people that might have written a blog post about what they did last week, and it may be that they're a travel journalist, so maybe let's get them in again and give them a preview of the new show, for example. So it's really this idea of we're actually narrowing our search down to relevant people and relevant audiences.